All right, get ready for this one. We are going deep on a case study, all about managing myopia with Ayurvedic medicine.
Oh, wow.
We found this research paper right from the International Ayurvedic Medical Journal. It's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, myopia, that's nearsightedness, and it's a really common eye condition.
Right, and it's not just about blurry vision either.
Yeah.
It has a huge impact on people's lives all over the world.
Yeah, for sure.
And think about it, we spend billions every year globally on solutions for myopia glasses, contact surgeries, the whole 9 yards.
Exactly.
But what if there's a different path? That's what's so interesting about this research.
Totally.
It explores an Ayurvedic approach and its potential to manage myopia in a whole new way.
And this particular study focuses on a 14-year-old girl, which I think adds another layer of intrigue to it.
Absolutely. So we're going to break down the specific treatments they used, the results they observed, and why these results are so interesting in the bigger picture of myopia management.
Sounds like a plan.
So to kick things off, can you give us some more context on myopia itself? Like, how common is it really?
Oh, it's incredibly common. It affects a massive portion of the population globally.
Wow.
And when it comes to the causes, it's not just one thing. It's a combination of factors, genetics, environment, lifestyle choices, you name it.
So it's complicated.
Yeah, it's not a simple fix.
Okay, so that's the conventional view of myopia. But how does Ayurveda approach it? What's their perspective?
Well, Ayurveda has this whole different lens. It sees things holistically, right?
Right.
So it connects nearsightedness to something called Vatika Timira,
Okay.
and it all boils down to an imbalance of one of the doshas called Vata.
Now remind me again, what's a dosha?
Good point. So in Ayurveda, doshas are these like energies or principles that govern different functions in the body.
Gotcha.
And Vata specifically is all about movement. It's linked to things like dryness and coldness.
Okay. Yeah.
So when Vata is out of whack, it can manifest in various ways, including vision problems.
Interesting. So how does Ayurveda actually address this Vata imbalance and ultimately myopia?
Well, they use specific substances and practices that are designed to enhance vision. And these are called chakshusha.
Chakshusha. Okay, I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, it's a good one to remember. So this case study highlights several chakshusha treatments that were used for this 14-year-old girl. And she had pretty blurry vision to start with.
Right. They measured her visual acuity, and it was 624 in her right eye and 636 in her left.
Yeah, and just for reference, 66 is considered normal vision.
Wow, so that's a pretty big difference.
Yeah, it is. So they started with something called Koshta Sholhana.
Kosha Shodan.
Yeah, it's basically a deep cleanse for the digestive system. They used a special formulation called Arandabrishta Haritaki Churna.
Whoa, that's a mouthful.
It is,
Right.
right? But this whole process is believed to rebalance that Vata dosha that we were talking about.
Ah, so it's not just about the eyes themselves, it's about the whole body.
Exactly. It's all connected.
Wow, I love that. Okay, so that's the internal cleanse. What else did they do?
They also did nasha.
Nasha, what's that?
So nasha involves administering medicated oil through the nostrils.
To the nose.
Yeah, might sound a little unusual,
A little bit.
but it's thought to directly benefit the upper body, including the eyes.
Huh. How did that work?
Well, it's believed to work by acting on the nervous system, which is intricate and delicate, as you know. And they used a specific oil called Krishnatya Taila for this.
Krishnatya Taila. Okay, we've got the internal cleanse and the nasal oil. Anything else?
Yep, there's more. Next up is Tarpana.
Tarpana.
This one involves applying a medicated ghee directly to the eyes.
Interesting.
It's like a nourishing and strengthening treatment for the eyes.
So it's like a special eye drop, kinda?
Kinda, but it's more like a ghee. It's thicker and richer, and they use a specific one called Javantati Grita.
Javantati Grita. Got it. So we've got the cleanse, the nasal oil, the medicated ghee. This is already way more involved than just putting on some contacts.
Right. It's a whole different approach.
It is. Were there any other treatments involved?
Yes. She was also given 2 herbal formulations, Triphala Churna and Saptamrita Loha.
Okay, I've heard of Triphala before.
Yeah, it's a pretty well-known Ayurvedic formulation.
Right, it's supposed to be really good for overall health.
Exactly. And Saptamrita Loha is interesting, too. It's an iron-based formulation.
Oh, interesting.
Both of these are believed to support eye health in different ways and help tackle those underlying imbalances we were talking about.
So it's like a full-body approach to eye health?
Absolutely.
It's amazing. But the million-dollar question is, did it actually work?
Okay, so this is where it gets really fascinating. After all these treatments, her vision improved significantly.
Really?
Yes, her right eye went from 624 to 612.
Wow.
And her left eye improved from 636 to 618.
That's incredible. That's a huge improvement.
It is, and her headaches decreased too.
So not only did her vision get better, but she also felt better overall.
Exactly. It seems like those treatments had a positive impact on her whole system.
It really makes you wonder, how did these seemingly separate therapies lead to such positive results?
It's like a puzzle, right? How do all these pieces fit together?
Right. It's mind-boggling. But I'm so curious to find out.
Well, we're going to delve into that next. We'll break down why these treatments may have worked and what it could mean for myopia management as a whole.
I can't wait. This is already blowing my mind.
It's exciting stuff for sure.
Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back after a short break.
Okay, so we've seen how these Ayurvedic treatments led to some pretty remarkable improvements in her vision, but I think it's important to zoom out a little.
Right, we need to look at the bigger picture.
Exactly. This was just one person's experience.
It was just one case study.
Right, so we can't draw any huge conclusions from this one case.
Absolutely. More research is definitely needed.
But even with that in mind, I can't help but get excited about the potential here.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely exciting.
Like, imagine if this kind of approach could offer a natural alternative to how we currently manage myopia.
It's a really intriguing thought.
It really makes you think about the power of Ayurveda and its holistic approach. Yeah, it's not just about treating the symptom, it's about getting to the root of the problem.
Right, and restoring balance to the whole body.
Exactly. And that's something that Ayurveda really emphasizes: personalized treatment.
It takes into account the individual's unique constitution and imbalances,
Right, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
which is so different from what we often see in conventional medicine.
Yeah, for sure.
And in this case, it seems like that personalized approach really paid off.
Yeah, the results were pretty remarkable.
They were. I have to admit, though, I'm still a little fuzzy on the science behind all of this.
Okay.
Can we maybe dive a bit deeper into how these specific Ayurvedic therapies actually work?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start with Koshtashodhana, the digestive cleanse.
Right.
So Ayurveda places a lot of importance on gut health.
Right. I've heard that.
It sees this direct connection between digestion and overall well-being,
Including eye health.
including eye health.
Yep.
Exactly.
Oh,
And the formulation they used in the cleanse, Arandabhrishta Haritaki Churna,
that one.
it's known for its detoxifying properties, and it's really good for balancing vata.
Ah, which is key for addressing Vatika Tamira.
Exactly. So by cleansing the digestive tract and balancing vata, they're essentially creating a healthier internal environment for the eyes to thrive.
It's like setting the stage for better eye health.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. What about Nasya, the nasal administration of medicated oil? That one's always intrigued me.
Yeah, Nasya is really interesting. So the nasal passages, they actually offer a direct pathway to the brain and the nervous system.
Really?
Yeah, and Ayurveda believes that administering medicated oils this way can have a powerful impact.
Fascinating.
And the specific oil they use, Krishnathiya Taila, is known for nourishing and soothing the nerves.
Including the ones connected to the eyes.
Exactly.
It's like a shortcut to the brain.
Kind of, yeah.
Wow, I never knew that. All right, so we've covered the cleanse, the nasal oil. What about Tarpana, the medicated ghee for the eyes?
So Tarpana is all about rejuvenation. It's a deeply nourishing treatment for the eyes. And the ghee they use, Jivantari Grita, is a blend of herbs and clarified butter that are specifically chosen for their beneficial effects on the eyes.
It sounds so soothing.
Yeah, it's like a spa treatment for the eyes.
I love that. Okay, so we've got the cleanse, the nasal oil, the medicated ghee that leaves the internal herbal formulations, Triphala Churna and Saptamrita Loha.
Right, so these formulations are like internal support systems for eye health.
Okay.
Triphala Churna is a combination of 3 fruits, and it's packed with antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties.
So it's like an internal shield for the eyes.
Yeah, exactly, protecting them from damage.
I like that. And what about Saptamrita Loha?
So that's an iron-based formulation, and iron is really important for healthy blood circulation.
And good blood flow is essential for optimal eye health.
Exactly. It all ties together.
It does. It's amazing. It's like a multi-pronged approach, addressing the vata imbalance, cleansing the system, nourishing the nerves and tissues, and then providing that internal support for the eyes.
It's a holistic approach, for sure.
It's incredible. It really makes you wonder, why aren't these approaches explored more in modern medicine?
It's a good question. There's definitely a growing interest in integrative medicine.
Right, combining the best of both worlds.
Exactly. And this case study is a perfect example of how those different approaches can complement each other.
I'm so glad we took this deep dive. It's been really eye-opening.
Me too.
But before we move on, I just want to make sure that our listeners are clear on the key takeaways here.
Yeah, good idea. So this case study, while it is limited in scope, it suggests that these Ayurvedic treatments may hold promise in managing myopia and related symptoms like headaches.
And we've seen that these therapies work by addressing vata imbalances, cleansing the digestive system, nourishing the nerves and tissues, and providing that internal support for optimal eye health.
And while more research is definitely needed to confirm these findings and understand the long-term effects, it's a reminder that there may be alternative and complementary approaches out there.
Right beyond the conventional treatments that we're used to.
Exactly.
It challenges us to think outside the box and consider the wisdom of traditional systems like Ayurveda.
And perhaps most importantly, it reminds us that the body has an incredible ability to heal itself when given the right support.
I love that. And I think that's a perfect segue into our next discussion point. This case study focused on a 14-year-old girl whose myopia was linked to a Vata imbalance. But what about other types of myopia? Would Ayurveda recommend the same treatment for everyone?
That's a great question, and it brings us back to that core principle of Ayurveda personalized treatment.
Right.
So while this case focused on a Vata imbalance, Ayurveda recognizes that other types of myopia might be connected to different imbalances.
Oh, so someone with a different type of myopia wouldn't necessarily receive the same set of treatments.
Exactly. Ayurveda is all about understanding the individual's unique constitution and tailoring the treatment accordingly.
So, for example, if someone had myopia linked to an imbalance in pitta, which is associated with heat and inflammation,
Right.
the focus might be on cooling and soothing therapies.
Exactly, instead of the warming treatments that they used for the Vata imbalance in this case.
Ah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
It all goes back to treating the root cause, not just masking the symptoms.
you got it.
That's what makes Ayurveda so fascinating. It's a system that recognizes the interconnectedness of everything,
It really is.
the body and mind, and it seeks to restore balance on all levels.
Yeah, and it's been so interesting to explore how it can be applied to managing myopia.
It has. I feel like I've learned so much, but I have a feeling there's still more to uncover.
Yeah.
You're right, there's always more to learn. I feel like we've just scratched the surface here.
We have, and that's what's so cool about Ayurveda. It's like this whole world waiting to be explored.
It is so, if someone's listening to this and they're like, wow, this is
Yeah.
amazing, I want to learn more, what would you recommend as a next step?
Well, I think the beauty of Ayurveda is that it really encourages self-discovery.
Yeah.
You know, it empowers you to take charge of your own
I
well-being.
love that.
So if you're interested in learning more about how Ayurveda could apply to you and your specific needs, I'd say the best thing to do is seek out a qualified Ayurvedic practitioner.
That makes sense. Like with anything health-related, having that personalized guidance from an expert can be so valuable.
It really can.
But for someone who's maybe not ready for that step yet, are there resources they could explore on their own to kind of dip their toes into the world of Ayurveda and eye health?
Oh, absolutely. There are tons of books and websites and even online courses dedicated to Ayurveda.
Okay.
Just make sure you're looking for reputable sources and always cross-reference information.
Good point. It's always smart to be discerning with any health information.
Yeah, and it's important to remember that Ayurveda is a complex system and self-treating can be risky. So if you have any concerns, definitely consult with a healthcare professional.
Great advice. Okay, so this deep dive has been so insightful, but I have to admit, one question is still lingering in my mind.
Oh, what's that?
This case study focused on a specific type of myopia linked to a Vata imbalance. But what about those other types of myopia, like the Pitta type we mentioned earlier? How might Ayurvedic approaches differ for those?
That's such a great question, and it highlights how individualized Ayurveda really is.
Yeah.
So while balancing Vata was key in this case study, someone with Pitta-type myopia might experience completely different symptoms.
Oh, really?
Yeah, things like burning or redness in the eyes.
Mm.
And their treatment might involve cooling herbs and therapies to pacify Pitta.
So even though both individuals have myopia, their underlying imbalances and therefore their treatments would be totally different.
Exactly. That's the beauty of Ayurveda. It's all about understanding the individual's unique constitution and addressing their specific needs.
Not a one-size-fits-all approach.
No way.
I love that. Well, this has been an absolutely incredible deep dive.
It has.
We've learned so much about myopia Ayurveda and the potential for these two worlds to intersect.
It's fascinating stuff.
It really is. Do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with our listeners before we wrap things up?
Yeah, if there's one thing I hope listeners take away from this, it's that there's always more to discover when it comes to health and well-being.
So true.
Don't be afraid to question conventional wisdom, explore different perspectives, and seek out knowledge that resonates with you.
Beautifully said. And remember, knowledge is empowering. The more you understand about your own body and the options available, the better equipped you'll be to make informed decisions about your health.
Absolutely. And if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity about Ayurveda and eye health, I encourage you to keep exploring.
There's a whole world out there waiting to be discovered.
There is.
And that's what the deep dive is all about. Taking you on a journey of discovery, leaving you with new knowledge, and sparking your curiosity to learn even more.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for joining us on this fascinating exploration of Ayurvedic myopia management.
It's been a pleasure. Until next time.
Keep those minds curious and keep exploring the endless possibilities of knowledge.